I try not to. I try to use Twitter as little as possible. Like, I tweet anymore for, like, obvious, global reasons. But I haven't kicked the habit of checking. Good for... I envy you. I find it's still a really good... no, it's not a good, but it's, like, one of the most, I'll say, thorough news sources. However, I just can't find the same...
Yeah, most people are still using that over something like Blue Sky.
Right, I can't find the same shit. Like, if discussing film can just get on the level, can just, like, sync up its Blue Sky to its Twitter, I can probably leave it behind me. I will say, there's still the odd, really good Twitter bit of, like, just a bit of the day that everyone's in on. And I feel like we'd have some good thoughts on this, and especially Dav, since you're not even there, we'd have some good thoughts on this most recent one. Because it's someone declared that 100 people could kill one gorilla. And most people seem to think that's not true. Am I fucking stupid? I think 100 people could take a gorilla down, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think gorillas are not like fucking Madara from Naruto. They can't, like, take out crowds of people.
You lose some people.
So, I mean, is the assumption that they're fighting barehanded? Is that the whole thing?
I do think that's an important thing. I haven't a great grasp. I think even barehanded, truly 100 human bodies could smother a gorilla, at the very least.
Because if it's just like humans are humans, then like objectively humans have already beaten everything else. 100 humans could easily beat a gorilla if you like let them pick up some sticks off the ground or something, for sure. But I think even barehanded they could manage it.
What's the weakest animal that could defeat 100 humans?
The weakest animal?
Like what?
Mosquito.
Polar bears are pretty mosquito. Oh, that's good. That's good. Polar bears are kind of insane. I don't think they could do 100 human.
Maybe some type of bird.
Yeah.
I almost said, okay, if we're talking, like, a whale? Could a whale just, like, eat 100 humans all at once?
Well, first of all, whales don't eat people.
But if it was in a life or death situation, that might be the most efficient way.
Most whales could easily just, like, go fast enough to ram them and kill them if they're underwater.
Yeah, and plus, like, if they're underwater, that's changing the battlefield.
Well, and if we give the handicap benefit of a scuba suit, Dav is saying a whale could still, like, red mist a crowd of humans.
Yeah, especially like a killer whale.
Yeah,
I know technically isn't a whale, but still, like,
an orca
that could easily just destroy a group of people.
Probably the easiest to convince to do it too, because aren't they, like, really aggressive?
Well, they hate the rich. They read Marx.
Yeah. There we go. Let's see. Do you think if a manatee was trained to kill, its, like, strength could allow it to?
No.
I think it could get a kill.
Manatees are like... Listen, I know manatees. They can't do that shit.
Okay, so you're saying if a manatee went full force into your face with that, like, clodhopper of a fucking tail, you would just bounce it off fine?
I mean, it definitely wouldn't kill me if that's what you're asking.
I think it would hurt. It would fracture your skull, I feel like. That thing's fucking gigantic.
Yeah,
but you also have to remember that manatees have, like, evolved to basically just, like, float everywhere.
No, I'm not. I'm saying if a manatee was trained to kill. Does it have, like, the physical attributes to pull off the job?
I guess that's a good question. I'd have to do more research into manatees, honestly.
It's not doing shit with its teeth, because they just sit around all day eating lettuce.
Yeah, it's the lettuce rat.
When I visited my mom in Tampa, we took my, like, fourth little cousin to the zoo. He was, like, turning 10, and he loves the zoo. And we got to see the manatees, and the zookeeper's like, yeah, they just sit here eating lettuce all day. And I whispered, like, yeah, same here. My mom was like, Thomas.
Select your character.
Rev up those fryers and fill your champagne glasses to the very tippy top. I'm Tommy, and you're listening to West Coast Toast and Roast, starring Willow, Dav, and yours truly.
Get ready for the next battle.
Welcome back to West Coast Toast and Roast. I'm a manatee on that good lettuce. I'm Tommy.
I guess if we're sea creatures, then dibs on being a sea lion, and I'm Willow.
Soy lechuga del diabetes. I'm Dav.
What's lechuga?
That's lettuce.
Well, I thought we were being sea creatures, not vegetables.
But you mentioned the lettuce wrap. I'm just continuing the bit.
Romaine lettuce, that's for me. Arugula,
That's for me.
I text Will every 5 weeks that a complete history of the Doughboys is something that I'm very capable of writing, like right now, and I think could be my greatest video of all time, but I think I owe it to myself to see the Doughboys out to the end of their podcast, however that comes.
You need to wait until Mitch dies.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be like the guy who makes the Chris Chan documentary? You're gonna be like that in depth.
That's
and
the thing.
Not fanatical about it.
The thing is, I feel like now if I could maybe I remember the Doughboys bits and like how there is significant lore of Doughboys and like how I could tell you how many bits have led to them having fights kind of that they've had to like work through. If I guess the one thing that also makes me like trepid is I'd have to like scour every fucking episode, and it's like well over a few hundred episodes, and they're each something like 2 hours long.
Yeah,
but
out of
maybe
fear of getting even one little detail wrong, you just gotta make sure.
But not even that, just like I'd want to pull the audio as like, because they've recently done a video format, but it's mostly an audio podcast. So I want to give a lot of like audio video evidence and just like show the clip of things happening, and I'd have to like go retrieve those. And I feel like I could probably do better than I think. I do have some level of autism where I can just like recall pretty easily where to pull them from, but I might end up a little in over my head.
It does sound like a lot.
Mm-hmm. But I guess I could just like, there's the Doughboys subreddit. I can just be like, hey, anyone remember which one this episode is? Well, a movie came out wait. Oh, you almost got me. We have Trailer Life and Death, kinda, sorta. Because instead, I'm just like taking a big bunch of news bulletins from the news section and putting it up front. Because that's all the movies and games you need. Do we want to talk about CinemaCon or the Switch 2 first? Because this was kind of April of CinemaCon and Switch 2 reveals.
Well, which came first, in the canon that is real life?
CinemaCon.
I guess.
Yeah, let's do cinema catering.
Okay, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of fucking like news bulletins here. How about I just rattle through them? Y'all just say red light if you want to hang on something, because there's so many things where it's like, okay, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Sure.
Okay, and I might have CinemaCon first, and it was really unfortunate that April 1st was the only time they could like do the fucking, because I had to like do a lot of sifting and searching to see what was real and what wasn't. I just cried at therapy, so it's gonna be like, this is me, instead of eating emotionally, I'm spitting out movie like bulletins in a binge fashion. Okay, so first on April 1st was the Sony press conference. Like I said, just red light me if I need to stop. And you want, all right. Resident Evil, new movie directed by Zach Krieger, Mikey Madison in talks to star. I think she'd be a cool, like, Jill or Claire. Taika Waititi is still making movies.
Yeah.
The director of Godzilla -1, Takashi Yamazaki, is making his English language debut, directing a film called Grand Gear.
Oh, what's that one about?
I don't think we know. I'm gonna see if there's a synopsis, even like maybe Letterboxd.
Is it about Guilty Gear?
That'd be a Guilty Gear movie by the Godzilla -1 guy would go hard as fuck. Yeah, plot TBA. We don't really know.
Okay.
We're getting Jumanji 3, Starship Troopers directed by Neil Blomkamp, which makes me want to slit my wrist. Legend of Zelda is moving forward. We did get the first hard confirmation of Spider-Man Brand New Day, directed by Daniel Destin Cretton, starring Tom Holland. I'm kind of surprised they didn't keep John Watts on board after he made them, like, all the money they could ever dream of, but I probably, I'm not really in that boat. Oh, Dav, sorry, it sounded like you might have wanted to say something.
Nope, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Editing Tommy.
All right, this is the kind of crazy one. The Beatles, a 4-film cinematic event directed by Sam Mendes. Paul McCartney will be played by Paul Mescal. John Lennon will be played by Harris Dickinson. Ringo Starr will be played by Barry Keoghan. And George Harrison will be played by Joseph Quinn. 4 separate films, teased to be simply called Paul, John, Ringo, and George, each released in April 2028.
I hope the first one sucks.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I'm gonna see one and just be burnt out. So, like, okay, 1 ticket to Ringo, I guess.
I feel like every Beatles, like, biopic is like, oh, look at us, we're so helpless. Oh, and there's our savior, John Lennon. Oh, he's the nicest guy in the world, when in real life he, like, beat his children.
No, if John Lennon didn't get assassinated, he'd just live a peaceful life and turn into Robert Carlyle, as dictated by Danny Boyle's Yesterday.
Yeah, but it's a good thing they did. They took him out.
Yeah. They got to look at Karate Kid Legends. I don't think it's going to be good. I think it's weird that one is in, like, an uphill battle with Cobra Kai, where it's like, I don't know if they're going to acknowledge it or what. There was the debut trailer for, speaking of Danny Boyle, the debut trailer for 28 Years Later. Do either of you have much experience with 28 Days Later or that franchise?
I have not seen it.
You all should check it out. I didn't watch it till Blank Check covered Danny Boyle. And this looks pretty... Have you all seen the trailer for this? It looks pretty rad, honestly.
I have not, no, because I haven't seen the first one.
That's fair. No, I think the first one was for a long time kind of in, like, movie jail, and they just made it, like, more easily rentable digitally and streamable. I had to, like, find one at a video store. Yeah, it's just, like, for a long time, it was, like, weirdly just in a nebulous streaming space, but they kind of got their shit together so people could get caught up for this one. It looks pretty... It's a zombie movie, and it's got the zombie movie things, but it looks pretty fucking cool. All right. Sony confirmed that Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse will hit theaters on June 4th, 2027. That's right, we knew that. We were recording the day this was, like, happening. So we're getting there.
Gonna get delayed.
Gonna get delayed, you think so?
It's gonna get delayed.
That would be pretty funny if it did, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to parse out the most important things, because this is already taking a little longer than I thought it would. Let's skip over to Lionsgate. Lionsgate gave basically a John Wick Direct. We're getting, like, a John Wick prequel anime. We're getting the Kane movie with Donnie Yen. I think that, like, the kind of good thing is that John Wick movies tend to just, like, keep on a really consistent clip of quality. And, like, every time I'm like, okay, pack it in. I go to see one, it's like, okay, they still got it. I do just kind of wonder when that mileage is gonna run out. I mean, it kind of did with the TV show, The Continental. But, it still has some good faith from me. I think Ballerina looks pretty rad. I do just kind of wonder, like, is this gonna be Lionsgate's, like, big franchise? And how long is it gonna be able to, like... It strikes me as, like, the Star Wars problem, almost, where it's like Disney wants to squeeze so much fucking blood out of Star Wars that I'm almost kind of like, well, like, how much longer can we keep this going?
Yeah.
Ultimately. God. Either of you watching Andor?
No.
I'm rewatching the first season because it's been so long that I need to get refreshed on it.
Mm-hmm.
But fondly so. The first season is still fucking amazing, and I am looking forward to starting season 2.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I find it so weird that I feel like there's like 5 Star Wars shows a year, and they're the most important thing to a non-zero number of people, and yet like I could not be bothered.
I gotta say Andor really sticks out as being actually objectively really good.
Okay. Yeah, people are always going to be mad, but people are going to find reasons to be mad about it, but like
Oh sure, yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. That was pretty much. We can keep moving here. Sony. Okay, Warner Brothers. We got that extended look at Superman, which I think was attached to the start of the Minecraft movie, a movie we're not going to talk about on this podcast.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty cool clip. I'm still just trying to be like I'm trying to be as normal as possible. I don't want to have like the most. I think it'd be pretty fucking sad if the best movie of the year was a Superman movie, and I love Superman enough that could be the case. Also, I want it to be great, and also like I want to believe in film as a whole enough where I can go a year without being like the rinky-dink Superman revival is my favorite movie of the year. So I'm just trying to like temper my. I do feel really positively about it. New trailer for F1, I think actually like really wins me over. There's some fireworks, cool shit. There was a clip from Final Destination Bloodline. So they showed a clip I don't think we the public have seen yet that sounds really fun. Dav, should I describe it or do you want to be left pure?
Oh, go ahead and describe it.
All right. The clip opens on 2 brothers in a hospital, one tall blonde and one alternative-looking brunette with piercings. Just like the other victims in this franchise, the brothers are cursed and must either try to cheat death or kill someone else to avoid a grisly fate. After weighing their options and deciding they are above hurting newborn babies, the older brunette brother devises a plan to exploit the blonde brother's peanut allergy and revitalize him last minute with an EpiPen.
Huh.
I think there's some shenanigans in like a CAT scan machine is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Did y'all see the teaser for Weapons?
No.
Stuff about it, but I haven't seen a trailer yet.
We know very little. It is Zach Krieger.
We really know very little.
It's Zach Krieger, director of Barbarian and the upcoming Resident Evil movie, producer of Companion, and collaborator on Whitest Kids You Know and Sex Robot. And all we've seen are just like it's something to the effect of kids are getting kidnapped. And I think the idea is they're like getting out of bed in the middle of the night and like Pied Piper-esque walking somewhere or wandering somewhere.
Where do you think they're going?
To do the lettuce wrap. The lettuce wrap.
Ah, yes, lettuce
wrap. Something I found really interesting as well, Warner Brothers really wanted to they did a major showcase devoted to WB animation. And I think that they're becoming very aware of their reputation for hating animation, which, like, you know, they do. And they really want to turn that around. They did, like, an animation introduction for Annecy, which is an animation-devoted film festival, with Bugs being like, and Warner Brothers is happy to open Annecy. I think they really want to turn around the rough reputation that they've been having with the sale of, like, Coyote versus Acme, and, you know, all that. It does come off as rather tone deaf, but President Bill Damashq announced a new commitment to theatrical animation. Okay. They're backing it up with a wide variety of projects utilizing a teaser showcasing Meet the Flintstones. So we're finally getting a Flintstones animated movie. Oh, the Places You'll Go, a Dr. Seuss joint by John M. Chu. And we also got... We didn't get it, because this was press mostly. Apparently there was a glimpse at Cat in the Hat. And I think it'll be cool just as, like, you know what? Like, animation doesn't always have to make us cry. Because apparently, by the sound of it, the Cat in the Hat, like, causes some havoc and looks into the camera and goes, nailed it. And, like, there we go. $10 billion. Another 100 million to Warner Brothers. Moving on. Universal has locked in that they are committing to live action How to Train Your Dragon 2. And we should all commit seppuku.
Yep.
They showed Wicked for Good. I think sounds demented. Showing Jurassic Park. We kind of have covered it. Did y'all see the trailer for Him?
No.
Nope.
So it's produced by Jordan Peele, who, you know, that's a really good, like, that's just a nice little seal of approval. From what let's see. It's about, it's like a college football player who ends up he gets brought under the wing of, like, his idol, like an old footballer, like and by old, it's like old for a footballer in 40 or 50. And it seems like this older footballer is going to ingratiate the younger player into, like, the sacrifices of being an athlete in, like, a fucked up Whiplash way. You see him colliding into other players, and there's, like, an X-ray of his bones getting fucked up, and the trailer has this very eerie tone. So I think it's, like, kind of like... I hate to, like, sound like the Kino nerd who can't think of anything but Whiplash, but it does seem like, how much will you sacrifice for that kind of thing? And I think from a point of view of something as visceral as football, where it's, like, borderline barbaric in the first place, that sounds really kind of fascinating, frankly. Dav, you had some noted excitement about Mithrigan 2.0.
Still gotta watch the first one, but I think that the premise is so fucking stupid and fun that I'm actually looking forward to it, and I'm gonna go see the Mithrigan in theater revival this week, so...
Nice!
Yeah.
I'm not in love. The first Mithrigan is just, like, weird. Like, it's fine, but it's, like, it's not great. It's just really strange. I kind of love that this one's not even pretending to be a horror movie anymore.
Yeah.
I'll see it. I think she says, "Hang on to your vagina." I think
something
sorry?
you say also.
Jesus, Willow.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I remember when I was in fucking Jesus, 7th grade, I was like, hi, I'm Will, and Tommy's like, hold on to your vaginas.
If you're gonna commit to the bit this hard, I'm not gonna be able to cut it. The more you, like, massage it into the DNA of the podcast, it's gonna be harder to cut it.
People of Bikini Bottom.
Bad Guys 2, we didn't really get to talk about that. How are we feeling?
I'm really excited for Bad Guys 2. I love the first one.
Yeah, looks like it'll be good.
Mm-hmm. Feels like an easy slam dunk, honestly. Okay. Willow, did you know they're making a sequel to Nobody with Bob Odenkirk?
I did know that, yeah.
So he's at a work convention where he's being eyed by a mysterious man in an elevator. Eventually this turns into an intimate elevator fight. They go on vacation. remixed with bleh. So yeah, it's gonna be a road trip movie.
Man, I was hoping for an intimate elevator fight.
I know. Well, that's like the genre of like the John Wick gun fu fights. You can have an elevator fight. You can do like hallway stuff. You can do like door stuff.
Yeah, when I was like, nah, nobody was pretty good, but it does need an intimate elevator fight.
fights. Speaking of unnecessary sequels, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is gonna make them fucking rich. I think Jason Blum is supposed to be kind of a dickhead, but he did enter on stage in a full Freddy Fazbear mascot suit.
It's a bear.
And also Black Phone 2 also feels kind of unnecessary, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a weird one.
Yeah. What's that about? We did see I know you also saw the trailer for the Phoenician Scheme, though, and I thought that looked really fun.
Yeah, I'm looking
It
forward
looks
to that.
okay.
Yeah, I think Benicio del Toro as Zsa Zsa Korja, a rich aristocrat. I think Wes
Anderson
Anderson.
a weird role for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Wes is like the Raisin Canes of directors, where he does one fucking thing, but I keep coming back for it. I think probably move on. Okay, I guess kind of a weird thing. And Dav, you might be a little bit in on this. There was the Kendrick Lamar musical with Trey Parker and Matt Stone that was supposed to come out as soon as this July, but for some reason it was like really majorly delayed to all the way to next spring, March. And that puzzled me a bit because it kind of feels like for Kendrick the iron has never been hotter, but I guess it's like if he's on tour he can't promote it and he finds his hands kind of full.
Could be. That's the first time hearing of that, honestly.
I don't know. I thought you would have heard. I think you. Oh well. Okay. No. Yeah. I think we don't. I don't think we even know the title yet. The idea is it's about a black man who's dating a white woman and he's volunteering at like a history museum, and he finds out that her ancestors owned his, and it's like a comedy musical with like South Park guys.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I had heard of that, but not as much detail.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if they want to save it, that was kind of a bummer for me. I was looking forward to that, but we know so little. This is Paramount now, so they're kind of like rapid fire. They've got that, Sonic 4, Scream 7, the new Avatar movie that's supposed to be, I think, fully animated and just like a continuation of the TV show, and Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem sequel. And Smurfs.
The Aquafina as Shredder.
That'd be... I almost just said that'd be cool. Like, off the cuff. No, I don't...
I think you actually would like that, wouldn't you, Tommy?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Aquafina would be like, sorry, turtles, hold on to your vaginas. And Tommy would be like, no, that's my thing!
Well, now I certainly can't remove it. And Paramount is who debuted the trailer for The Naked Gun.
I'm so excited for that.
It looks good, actually.
It looks really good. I'm so excited. Because that guy did Pop Star, too, right?
Yeah, it's Akiva Schaffer who directed, on a less fun note, his most recent was Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which kind of made me nervous. But he also directed Pop Star, Hot Rod, and I think a few episodes of I Think You Should Leave. So I think so. He's somehow involved. Maybe at least a couple skits. He's involved with it, definitely.
I don't know.
Sorry?
I was gonna say, I love how in the trailer you can tell that it's like, because the original, I feel like in parody movies, like there aren't really parody movies anymore.
Right.
Like one of the shit that I loved from like the original Naked Gun is that it's very much just like a live action cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this shows that perfectly, like with him ripping off like the little girl mask and then like randomly growing. And Liam Neeson is like, honestly, I think he's a very good comedic actor as well.
Right. Well, and people forget Leslie Nielsen was primarily a serious actor before he was put in Naked Gun.
Was he really?
It's my understanding that that's the case, at least to some extent. I think Liam Neeson is... Sorry, Dev?
I think the, like this Liam Neeson in Naked Gun thing, was this... It was either, like, inspired by, or it's, like, heavily motivated by his cameo in Ted 2?
I feel like that has to... Because I think Seth MacFarlane is somewhere, like, in that SNL...
Yeah, he's, like, attached to this.
Yeah.
Like, his name
so
is
I think,
on the trailer.
And whenever people were like, "Oh, it's gonna suck that it's Liam Neeson," I thought of that and how that's like probably the funniest. I haven't seen that movie, and I know it's not funny, but I know that part is fucking hilarious.
That's probably like the funniest scene in the Ted duology.
And if I buy these tricks, I won't be followed.
Won't be followed. If it's just a full movie of that, then I'll be happy, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I did the most recent Neeson movie I did watch was Schindler's List, unfortunately. So I have to make sure I watch no other Liam Neeson movies in between, so this hits as hard as possible. That Oscar
from
Schindler,
Schindler's List,
Naked
Gun.
Last one. Or wait, no, is it the? I think we got Amazon. I'm gonna try and wrap this up. We got Amazon and Disney ahead. I'll wrap this up. Okay. Amazon is making Masters of the Universe, directed by Travis Knight, which is really exciting. He's directed Kubo and the Two Strings and Bumblebee, which I think are, even though I'm not nuts about Kubo, I can acknowledge it's well directed, and I fucking love Bumblebee. I love this cast. Nicholas Galitzine and Camila Mendes are the two leads, alongside Idris Elba as Man-at-Arms, Jared Leto as Skeletor, and Alison Brie as Evil Lynn. So if they stick the landing, I'm kind of pumped for that, honestly.
Really wish Jared Leto wasn't in it.
I don't know about it. Okay, this put me in kind of a good mood. Y'all might not have a huge reaction, but it did just kind of feel like, oh, interesting. First trailer from Phil Lord and Chris Miller, their adaptation of a book called Project Hail Mary. The trailer opens with Ryan Gosling as a quirky school teacher who's approached by a scientist who needs his help because the Earth's sun is dying and needs to be reignited. Fucking Armageddon, sunshine, we are back. Stupid plots about the sun and how it would disintegrate us instantly. It feels, I just like the humbleness of a school teacher is our last resort. I like Gosling. Lord and Miller are behind Spider-Verse and Clone High and 21 Jump Street, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, so they have a lot of goodwill for me. I just like how Spielbergian and simple the premise is, which goes hand in hand with Spielberg also making a UFO movie next year that I'm really pumped for, especially learning so much about him from podcasts recently. Another Luca Guadagnino movie. Sounds really strange. We don't have to dwell on that. Okay. Again, this one, I don't know if we're going to care that much. It just sounds really fucking bizarre, and I want to read the trailer description. Attendees were shown a special extended trailer for Mercy, a sci-fi thriller in which a detective, played by Chris Pratt, is accused of murdering his wife. We see him strapped to a chair in an empty room and given a 90-minute time limit with an AI program to prove his innocence.
This is a work of fiction. It's not found footage of a real event.
That sure sounds interesting, Sherman.
I think it sounds stupid, but I find it hilarious. All right. That Disney last one. Do y'all hear that Thunderbolts is supposed to have a surprise early death?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be Foggy Nelson, I tell you what.
Have you seen that picture where it's all of them lined up in their Avengers poses and Taskmaster's just sloppily photoshopped on? It's official promotional material.
Brings me so much joy, honestly.
Oh. Kevin Feige treated CinemaCon 2025 after he turned around to pick up the dollars that fell out of his hat. With brand new footage of Fantastic Four First Steps, we did get this trailer public. I'm feeling weirdly kind of optimistic still. I might be playing chess with a dog here.
I think it could be fun.
Yeah, it could be okay. I don't know if it's going to be all that great, but...
Yeah, I think you put it, Dav, that no matter how good it is, it's always just gonna have that, like, baggage of, like, we're gonna get the RDJ Doctor Doom, probably.
Yeah.
If they were smart, they would, like, I don't think they're gonna backpedal on that cast. No, they're not gonna. But if they were smart, I think they would save that entirely for Avengers stuff at this point. Because the people who are in. But, I don't know. Okay, first look at Freakier Friday, which we also got. It looks dreadful. I love that first Freaky Friday movie, but this looks awful. Did either of you get a chance to peek at that one?
Peek what are next.
Excuse me?
I said it's peek what are next. Freaky Friday? Freakier Friday. Freakiest Friday?
I thought you were saying peak. What's next? Like, move us on. I'm done with this.
No, I can't even ironically enjoy this.
No. Well, it's like, because have either of you seen you have to have seen the first one, right?
Yeah, it scared me as a kid.
Long time ago.
Scared you as a kid?
Yeah.
Like, okay, is that something we want to dissect? Why did it scare you?
I put simply, I didn't want it to happen to me. God, my favorite thing is when I like say something and then I hear Tommy's mic go, aha, and then completely cut off.
Because you recall what nobody's making a fuss about, surprisingly, but I think is like, I see why they're doing it, but also it just sticks out really badly, is that in the first movie, you may recall what switches their bodies is a magic fortune cookie from a magic Chinese family. And I'm like, I get why you don't want to do that now, but something about the hard pivot to, like, Vanessa Bayer fortune teller just feels really fucking, like, kind of cowardly. Like, we're not even going to talk about why it's not a Chinese family anymore. I fucking love Vanessa Bayer. They just need to put her in good movies. Here's what I'm kind of pissy about. Predator Badlands. Number one, I wonder if they're just like, if they kind of are playing this up, even though it's not that big an aspect. It's what we're doing, good guy Predator again. Like, suck me off. Give me a fucking break. And number two, as if that was number two, people have noticed Elle Fanning in the trailer. She like blinks, and the corporation from Alien, the logo is on her eyes. She's like a robot. So this is going
in
back.
The same universe. Hey, Tommy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you understand this, but this isn't the same universe.
Wow, I've always wanted an Alien versus Predator movie that doesn't suck. I guess I'll have to wait not a few years. This is gonna suck. The animated one looks fucking cool, though.
Oh, yeah.
Killer of Killers. It's like an anthology. These are
King of Kings.
King of Kings. Predator King of Kings. Now, are we photoshopping Predator onto Motu Patlu or Jesus Christ Oscar Isaac?
What's the difference?
Predator of Predators.
We really gotta hurry this shit up.
Well, we've only been recording for, almost an hour. Okay, Zootopia 2, sure, why not? I think Tron Ares looks a little neat. I'm sorry. I think it looks kind of cool. I guess we'll see. And Avatar. I'm all in on Avatar. Okay. Switch 2. Man, you know what? That shit is expensive. $500 fucking dollars. It's all anyone's talked about. $80 Mario Kart. Heinous business practices from Nintendo. How could anyone be involved? I did buy one though.
Yeah, sure
Yeah,
did,
because
Sherman.
you're not immune to Donkey Kong propaganda.
Oh man, you don't want to get me started. I think that, if you've been on the internet, you've heard about the price stuff, and I think that it's a little irresponsible to I have half a mind to say well, it's tariffs, it's inflation, that's not Nintendo's choice, but it's probably irresponsible to fully free them from the accountability of how much they really are gouging their prices.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and everything that we've seen so far, I think, just does not really justify the massive increase. It does not look that much better than the Switch one.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, no, and I came from a place of I spent that much on my PS5, and new console, new games is new console. So, I do think I probably suck a little bit for. I feel a little. I don't want to act like I have the Paris Hilton meme of her wearing the shirt that just says "Stop being poor," because obviously not everyone can afford this. I guess I just don't know why people are it's if you can't buy it, you can't buy it. Yeah, shit sucks now. I don't get why are you
Tommy's
mad about
it? Tommy's just and so yeah, leave the $1 billion company alone.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm probably just being. I just think. You know what? I bought it. I made my bed here. I want to play Donkey Kong Bonanza. Here we are.
Ooh, banana.
Oh, banana. Donkey Kong Bonanza is I think as far back as 2 schools ago that I worked at for more than a year, there would be the Nintendo Direct that has Mario Golf and Metroid Dread, and I'd open that being lifting my plate for some Donkey Kong, please. And as time goes by, I'm more I got it. It's not going to be this one. Not going to be this one. Not get our hopes up. And I am walking to work while listening to the Direct because it's right at 7 when I'm on my way to work. I'm okay, Mario Kart seems cool. I honestly am kind of in the pocket for it. Kirby Air Riders. All right, sounds good. My students start coming in. I have to put my phone away. They get their time at art class. I pull out my phone. I go on Twitter. I'm okay, I'm going to check the fridge for food. And I know there's no food. But I'm going to be oh, is Donkey Kong there? And I'm going to be disappointed. Just make peace with that. And I'm okay, Nintendo. Yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza. What? Oh, man. And it is precisely what I wanted from a new Donkey Kong game. It's what I've kind of found out is that Donkey Kong fans are as picky and as defensive as Sonic fans. It's just that we only get one game a decade to be annoying about. And not everyone's thrilled with the design. I think it's fucking great. This is actually maybe my favorite look for DK, at least in a long time. I think this game looks stunning. I think you know what? It would be harder to justify my day one purchase of a Switch 2 without that, but if I found that Game Boy that people animate to saying never buy a console at launch, and Shigeru Miyamoto whispered in my ear and said I could play Donkey Kong Bonanza one day early if I put that Game Boy through a fucking wood chipper, I'd say, from what height? Fucking Donkey Kong Bonanza, I'm so fucking excited.
It looks good. Donkey Kong looks good. Mario Kart looks good. I'm a little disappointed with how that's turning out, but it still looks good. And I know that I'll get a Switch 2 eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it's just not a good deal.
I don't, yeah, and I'm a little OCD about staying current. Like, I want to be able to write and be in the loop about, but like, from a strictly financial standpoint, it was stupid of me to buy it. It wasn't an insignificant financial decision, but I did it.
That makes sense. I also have a backlog of like 1,000 video games.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I can wait.
No, yeah. You're the responsible one here. I you know, and again, like, I totally get, like, $80 for a Mario Kart is fucking ridiculous. And, I'm not saying but, I'm saying and, this is what I've kind of always wanted Mario Kart to be. I think ever since the Wii and, like, Mario Kart Wii onward, I think was like going through the motions, just giving you an increasingly less interesting Mario Kart. Progressively safer. Because like Double Dash and even to some extent DS would kind of make waves. And those are the parts that they backpedal on. Whereas they keep anything to make those games safer and more accessible, they would just always fucking do. And this looks like, honestly, the big swing I've wanted it to be. So I'm kind of, they have, the overlapping world and the fucking gigantic roster of characters, even though I'm waiting on Diddy Kong, where I don't care if you have to change his name or censor it. He's the person at the party I'm hoping shows up. I'm kind of in the pocket. I hate to admit it. I think I'm kind of pumped for it.
I'm glad you're excited for it, at least.
Sorry, I was taking a sip of my protein shake. We didn't get any more about Pokemon, huh?
Yeah.
Cause we talked about that because we did our last one right on the bubble to the point that I'm having kind of a hard time remembering what we have and haven't discussed. We talked about Tamagotchi life, all that good stuff. Kirby Air Ride. Dav, you seem like you were a Kirby Air Ride kid.
It was like one of those games I never had, but I like played it at a friend's house and thought it was really fun.
It's like the most impressive tech demo ever made.
Yeah.
I kept playing it. I kept playing it being like, when am I going to unlock the part that's like a game and not just like a small collection of cool things to do? And I put a lot of hours into it for how dismissive I sound, because it is fucking cool. But what it is a fucking cool tech demo.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I heard that Sakurai was working on a new game, I was hoping it was going to be like a new Kid Icarus instead of this. But I'm glad he's attached to it.
It's going to have the Sakurai font.
Sakurai.
Do you know what I'm talking about? He loves that specific like Times New Roman font, and it's in every fucking game.
Yeah.
And how like I didn't have the awareness to put together that he worked on both, like, Melee and Kirby's Air Ride were directed by the same guy, and I am just navigating the menu, and I'm like, and I Ratatouille to Melee, because just the little clicky effect when you select something is the exact same.
The menu design is pretty much the same in Melee and Kirby Air Ride.
No, yeah, I don't know.
It's his brand. It's his identity.
Yeah. All right. Which also kind of raises the question that pretty much locks in he's not directly working on Smash right now.
Yeah, I suppose so. I don't think I think we need a break from Smash.
I don't think financially, I don't know if they can afford to. Would you look at the numbers Ultimate did and be like, yeah, we're good?
That is a good point.
I don't disagree with you. I just think it's inevitable. And I think we've touched on this. It's either Ultimate with a special edition, or it's completely opposite direction, as Dav kind of posited, like a soft reboot, and kind of what I've pictured of it here and there as well.
I love a soft reboot if it could get rid of Jigglypuff.
A soft reboot with Jigglypuff is what I said.
Dav,
those were my words.
Philip, all I'm gonna say is Philip Banks.
Dav, look me in the eyes. You can't right now because we're talking on a computer. Look me in the eyes.
Okay.
Is Jigglypuff a short stack?
No.
My God. I think that should be cut. Jesus.
That's the thing. Nobody knows what a short stack is. There's no laws against a short stack.
No, it's self-descriptive. It is somebody who is short and stacked. You have to do both of those things.
But they don't know why you care. They don't know why you care.
But if you are short and you are stacked, then you are a short stack. Okay?
Do you want this cut, David?
No, because I think this is the most interesting thing we've talked about so far. But I could be biased. I'm very passionate about these topics, and when you ask me these questions, you have to be prepared for this.
Is it really that much more interesting than Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman in The Roses, directed by Jay Roach of Austin Powers fame? They're a warring couple, David, and it's going to theaters. Olivia Colman, mind you, who you refer to as that sexy nun in Paddington in Peru.
Oh, yeah.
Will save us. We need to wrap this up. Just fucking get us out of here.
Yeah, should I talk about my first toast?
Yes.
Okay, alright. So, recently I've been trying to find some more trans art. And I've noticed one of the things that's kind of cool and common within kind of the community of trans people is there's actually a lot of really good trans webcomics out there. And I kind of stumbled across one because it was on a subreddit. And they were like, does anyone remember this comic? It was made in 2001. And I'm like, no, there's no way. It's it can't be that long ago, right? And it's written obviously by a trans woman. And it's from what I understand, a semi-biographical, semi-fictional story about a teen trans woman or I guess a trans teenager would just fit it. What the fuck? Just being in high school and going through high school as a trans woman. But it's also very interesting because this was in a time when a lot of the vocabulary we have today just almost didn't exist. So it's it's interesting to see them go through these experiences, and it's oh fuck, that's happened to me. What's going on here? She calls it this, but nowadays we would call it this. And honestly, it's just a really simple comic. It's a slice of life. A lot of times it's it has arcs that are funny, and other times it's pretty serious stuff. Especially about a lot of the violence that trans women face, and especially back then. And it's all just very honest and very charming at times, very funny at others. And it's just one of those things where it's I can look back and be oh holy shit, we've always been here. We've always been going through this, and we've always made it through. It's very kind of inadvertently inspiring that way.
Well, that makes me think of how I think it was to think of how Maddie Blaustein was an out trans woman, just openly in the industry before I ever had a fucking concept of transness. What that is for anybody. And thinking of how much strength that must have taken, that's one of the most empowering things, absolutely.
Yeah, and, the comic, I was just, reading it on my walks outside, and there are times that are, really sad, and, but also times that are just, genuinely funny, and it's one of those, those vines that's I do that. So I was reading up, and the unfortunate thing is, it took a long break in, I think the early 2010s, came back for only, a few strips, and it ended with the main character, the last thing that happened, is she got stabbed with a knife, and the next panel is her waking up in the hospital, and it's over. Like, there's nothing after that.
What?
It is insane. I guess the author just, like, she never wrote more of it.
I might be wrong. I don't think you've said what this is called.
Oh, did I not? It's called Venus Envy?
Maybe you did say that. I'm sorry.
No, and it's, like, definitely worth a read, especially, like, if you kind of want a very, like, just honest look inside what it's like to you know, be a trans person.
Golly.
But yeah, it ends right there, and then it's like, oh shit, this sucks. But then I looked up the author, and if my research is correct, she went on to write for both Marvel and DC.
Cool.
Which I think is, like, fucking insane. It's like, you know, she started off on this, like, little webcomic, just, like, sharing herself and, like, you know, showing people what it was like in a time when what it was like was really, like, not in the public eye in the slightest. And now she's, like, writing shit for the big comics. Like, I think that's really powerful.
Sheesh. I agree. That is super inspiring. Man, and yeah, to just imagine, like, how much. I hope I don't seem like I'm, you know, like, grandstanding, but, like, it does touch me a bit to kind of be reminded, like, in the midst of all the RFK bullshit, and how, like, I don't mean to say I'm, you know, I'm marginalized on the same level as you, but you know, hearing about how he wants to put.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry. I think I'm making a fool of myself.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I'm trying to say that hearing about, like, he wants to make a registry of people with autism, and how, like, and I'm like, oh wow, this is a upsetting thing to read when I've recently watched. Oh, let's check Schindler's List. You know, I just did, you know, like, pieces of art about persistence is, you know, something I also have been touched by this month, and that sounds like a really strong companion to that.
It definitely, you know, it's free to just read on her website. I would say go ahead and give it a look.
All right. Ooh.
But yeah, that's basically the long and short of it. Like, it's a very inspiring story. It's a great comic if you want, like, an insight into things. I think overall I'd definitely and highly recommend it.
Fascinating.
And now I shall turn it off to you, Daff.
Okay, so unfortunately I talk about things in kind of a chronological order of when I actually experienced them since the last podcast.
David, just 1 minute. I'm updating my movie release calendar. Let me just climb up the ladder here. What came out early April this year? What release was that again?
So there were, like, a few different things, but there was kind of, like, one, like, super big one.
Well, you could have seen Hell of a Summer, you know, auteur piece by Finn Wolfhard, actor to auteur. What a dignifying arc. Did you go see that?
No, I didn't see that one. No, I don't think it was that one.
A man of culture. You saved yourself for the amateur, the unconventional superhero. He uses his brain. Surely something as innovative grasped you as a viewer.
No, honestly, that one looked so fucking boring, I couldn't even watch it ironically, so no, I don't think it was that one either, no.
Then tell me, dear viewer, if I can't think of the option off the top of my head, why, you must regale me with something truly shocking.
Okay, first off, don't call me dear viewer, that's not my name, my name is Dev. And second off, I actually did
his
go
name
watch...
is David.
I don't want some ice cream, I'm diabetic. And instead I went and I saw a true auteur film, a true, like, landmark in cinema history, and that was, of course, Steve's Lava Chicken the movie. And here's the thing, I know people are going to be talking about this throughout the future because the experience of sitting in a movie theater on opening weekend for a Minecraft movie in a city with a fairly significant population of 12-year-olds. I don't think that can go understated. That is, like, in line with something like The Force Awakens or Avengers Endgame in terms of you had to be there. No one will ever be able to experience something like this until they die and go to hell.
See, I saw mine at Alamo Drafthouse, and I think I got, like... Because I think you don't, like... You have to be... That's, like, some real divorced dad shit to bring your kid to the Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah.
Like, nothing says, this is my Wednesday with you, more than, let's go to the movie theater where there's beer.
Yeah.
Some shit my dad would do. You listen to some butt rock on the drive over. And you're like, catch another movie, son. And he's like, 12 beers deep.
Yeah, you kind of perfectly summed up Garbage Man Garrison's plot in the movie there.
Oh, it's Garbage Man Garrett Garrison.
Garbage Man Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison.
Right, I thought, okay, yes. I feel like he almost works, even though this is maybe the worst movie I've ever seen in theaters.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like, you're probably watching this movie, if not for Minecraft, you're here for, like, Jack Black or Jason Momoa.
Uh-huh.
And they kind of steal the show in the way that you can with a movie that sucks this much.
Yes, yeah.
But, because, like, when I went into this, I thought that the, like, subplot with, Jennifer Coolidge and the Villager was going to be a little more interesting and, like, present.
Oh, did you?
that only ended up... Well, because, after coming off of, like, Love Hurts, where most of the movie sucks, but there's, like, the one romantic subplot that's kind of fun. I was like, oh, maybe that'll be, like, this movie's version of that. And it turned out really not to be. It's only, like, 2 scenes, like, maybe 3 minutes total in the whole movie.
Well, you could have, if it became Jennifer Coolidge stewards this, like, villager through the real world, that's way funnier than a bunch of fucking, like, factory reset humans, like, pointing to things and saying their Minecraft proper noun, I guess.
Flint and steel!
Like, imagine a scene where, like, like, she takes the villager back to her apartment and then, like, sets up, like a pull-out bed or something, and then the instant she does that, a baby villager, like, spawns next to them, and that's, like, her son now.
The thing is, I had no idea that's how it worked. So if I walked into the movie and saw that happen, I think I would die. I did not know. I have minimal Minecraft experience.
Villagers breed when you give them food and when you give them beds.
They just, like, spawn a little one.
They kind of like run into each other, and then hearts like fly around them, and then a baby villager comes out, and then the baby villager gets a job when it grows up.
If I saw that happen in a movie theater without the context, I would not be here recording this podcast.
Golden opportunity to have an entire subplot where they, like, Jennifer Coolidge has a baby, and the baby grows up and becomes like a fisherman or something.
Like
all
overnight.
All while the main plot is going.
Because Jack Black clarifies that the 20-minute shift from day to night is diegetically real in this movie as well.
Yeah.
Which means living in the world of Minecraft is living in, like, a hellscape with no... You would eventually lose your concept of time, wouldn't you? Like, the Pavlovian effects of nighttime would make you feel as though a day has passed in 20 minutes with time, wouldn't it?
Tommy, literally all of us go through that. No, we all go through that every time we boot up Minecraft and play it. Like, everybody, because we have, like, a Minecraft Realms And whenever we play it, that's what happens, you know? You lose track of time, and day and night don't mean anything, and sleep doesn't mean anything, and that's Minecraft.
That's Minecraft for you, Tommy.
I have been singing Steve's Lava Chicken to my students for the past, 2 weeks.
You don't do that.
You gotta, when I love being cool guy, but then, it's fun to have fun with this. You know, it's fun to have fun with your job.
That's true, but, okay. Back onto the topic about the Minecraft movie and how much it sucks. Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what I expected from the trailers, honestly. It's ugly as fuck. All the performances are phoned in. The story is nonsense. It's a shit film. It was just really amazing to nearly go deaf in that theater full of children throwing popcorn and filming things in front of AMC employees who just couldn't do anything about it.
Man, it's directed Jared Hess, who directed Napoleon Dynamite, which isn't high art, but I'm not saying he's fallen so greatly, but you can feel how out of depth he is, where he's I do awkward coming of age stories with llama jokes, and here we are. A magic adventure.
It does feel like a theme park ride.
Yeah. Alright, shall I take the wheel?
Please do. I don't let's leave Minecraft the movie
in the Nether.
In the Nether. Until we inevitably get a sequel in 2 years, because there's
another Minecraft movie.
Minecraft : Predator of Predators. King of Kings.
Minecraft King of Kings.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Should I take the wheel?
Go for it.
Do it, Tommy.
Well, Willow was was very vulnerable with that first toast, and I was debating on if I should do this one, because it does also require me to be vulnerable. It's a very personal connection, but I figure I might as well if Willow got that ball rolling. I rewatched a movie that was kind of a mom favorite. She has it on all the fucking time, with a glass of wine and another glass of wine. I don't know. Called As Good as It Gets. And this is starring Jack Nicholson. It is technically a rom-com, but I don't feel like that's I wouldn't open it if I were hungry for rom-coms. I think it's kind of unconventionally so. And for a long time I was oh, that's a mom movie. That's, 2 glasses of wine on a Sunday afternoon ass movie. And I learned, this was Best Picture nominated, and both Nicholson and Helen Hunt in the leads got their respective Best Actor awards. And the director, I learned, is James L. Brooks, who was a major, creative force on The Simpsons, and no small part of the humor and emotionality of that. And I was wait, is this gonna be low-key really good? I find out there's definitely a very particular audience for it, but I thought it was actually, I was oh fuck, is this a 9? It's kind of in my top 100 now. So Jack Nicholson plays a character with OCD, and I'm not personally diagnosed with OCD, but whenever I read about it, I feel it overlaps with my experience with autism, and I kind of wonder, I don't know if this is ignorant to say, I kind of wonder if I have it as a branch off, because you both have seen me leave my front door and lock it and then push against it multiple times to make sure it's fully locked. Do either of you know that sometimes I lock the door, leave a full 20 steps out of my apartment, and then still go back?
Oh wow.
So this movie's for me. He has OCD. He has to... Yeah, he, like, turns his lights off 5 times every time he goes into the kitchen. He uses, like, 5 bars of soap every time he washes his hands. But, like, he has the soap perfectly organized. It's such a, like... I don't want to say, oh, it's funny, but it's, like, kind of sad, like, oh, boy. It's just, like, a stack of perfectly arranged bars of soap. He pulls off one, washes his hands for a minute, throws it away, and reaches for the next one. It's like, oh, man. Because that's so fucking ridiculous. But it's not all that different from being a full few feet outside of your apartment, turning around, going back to your door, and pushing it to make sure it's locked.
Sure, yeah.
Now, what was that, David? Sorry.
I said sure, yeah.
Yeah. And now I want to draw a really hard line. I relate to that character in that aspect. I don't relate to him that his neurosis also makes him deeply racist and homophobic. He's like, he's gay. I make it sound like, oh, he's literally me, and then he's like mad at his gay neighbors, and he goes, fucking fudgepackers. But that's the thing. He's like the most hated man in, like, they don't act like it's like silly. It's like people tell him to his face how deeply hurt like, one of the main characters is gay, and he's like, you deeply hurt me with how fucking hateful you are. Like, there's a point where he gets kicked out of a public place and people are cheering. Like, he's awful, but like, just like, knowing even the worst possible fucking person has my weird fucking neuroses, I just think there's a really artful touch to that, and what really brought me to it was that, and like, I made a big cryptic deal to Willow, like, therapy got really heavy, I don't know. I'm gonna, at the risk of, like, what happened, and, my therapist basically said, that we've broached a lot of topics, but she feels I should she wants to refer me to someone with expertise in areas she's not equipped for. Like, she's basically recommending me an alternative, and that sounds completely run-of-the-mill, and like typical, and like that's what a medical profession does. I had to talk to her that I was like deeply in pain about that, because like a therapist is someone you trust with so fucking much, and like, it felt almost like I had to like transition from saying goodbye, and she's not like dropping me. I'm giving so many details, sorry. I guess, you know, that is just like such an indicative fear of change that this character is experiencing, and I'm not saying that excuses his like horridness, but it is just like, you almost see how someone could get like so beyond stuck in their ways in a way I kind of fear every day. Someone who like takes to change so fucking poorly that their nose is to the grindstone that it's like not they're immovable. They'd rather throw a fucking fit than change. And I'd like to think I'm not deeply racist and homophobic, but his stubbornness and his sense of routine, it just like, I think that it's very easy to make like, oh, this is an OCD character. And Nicholson is fairly exaggerated, he's great. But something about the balance of humor and exaggeration and just like the little quirks and strokes just like really spoke to me, frankly. Am I making sense there?
I think so.
Yeah, and like I was telling my therapist, I was like, this is like in that movie, and kind of the big crux is he eats breakfast at the same cafe every morning, and there's one waitress there that can fucking tolerate him. Like, she gives him shit, she's clearly not thrilled with him, just like no one else gets him. And she like can kind of pull it off, even though she's also like deeply hurt by him every day. She just kind of takes pity on him, and like I also like, you know, like kind of got used to him. And then one day he goes and she's not there. And like she had to leave work to because her son was sick. And then the second another waitress comes, he loses his goddamn mind. He's like, but wait, no, this isn't like, his whole day is fucked, and no one else will put up with his shit, and nor should they. But at that same token, it's like, he's lost something that he's so accustomed to, and it's hard on that pure emotional level, almost in a perverse way, like, feel a lot of pity and even, like, relation to him for that.
Damn, I get what you're saying, Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, man. Now, and there's, like, that whole thing. There's another half of this movie that totally isn't that smart. Like, he says some, like, horrible... I think, like, you know, he says horrible things. There's a whole, like, quadrant of this movie where the quality is he gets a cute puppy. Because, like, part of also he has to watch a neighbor's dog, and he fucking hates dogs, and that's one thing after another going wrong for him. They get the best fucking dog actor. He's little Brussels Griffon, underrated breed in my opinion, who just, like, acts the hell out of being that dog in a way that I don't get pumped about movie dogs that much, but he's like, something about the way he's directed, I'm like, this is the best fucking dog of all time. Jill, the dog, the real-life dog, was raised alongside Moose the dog, who was the dog on Frasier. I learned.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's like a 9. I think it would be a 10, only because I'm not crazy about how they handle... He, like, goes to these huge lengths to get that waitress back in his diner, to the point that... And he's, like, a novelist. He's well off, even if he is fucking neurotic. He hires basically full-time help so she can come back and serve him breakfast, which I think is, like, again, it's like, as I say that out loud, it sounds so fucking lame and stupid, and then they gradually fall in love, which, as I say out loud, is fucking lame and stupid, but they, like, do it on such a granularly interesting level. Like, I just think this is not the kind of character people are telling stories about. Like, a guy with, like, mental social illness that really impacts him, like, falls upward into love. Like, what the fuck? And all the ways that can go wrong. So it's, like, flawed in how just, like, down the stairs crashing the premise is, but I can't think of anyone making, like, a rom-com with this fucked up premise, you know? And it kinda working? Am I making sense there?
I think that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Alright, well, that's about all I want to cover. It's certainly not a movie night movie. I'm not busting in with as good as it gets in white wine. So you'd have to seek that one out if you really wanted to. Do it for the best damn dog in a movie. Back to you, Willow.
Alright, so, I have been playing this game called Slay the Spire. It is a card game deck builder roguelike that makes me really reconsider if I even disliked roguelikes in the first place.
Ooh, okay.
And
I'm sorry. I kind of get that too sometimes, because roguelikes are, like, so grueling in just, like, how they are, that the fun is, we've made this so fucking fun, even though it's tedious, you know?
Yeah.
So if you have a roguelike that doesn't click with you on every level, it's like, oh, fuck this, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically you can play as one of 4 characters, and each of those characters has, like, a different deck. And each of the characters' decks are, like, pretty drastically different, even though the enemies are the same. Like, the main guy's deck is just, you get cards, and you upgrade them to do more damage. Like, that's his whole game plan. It's so simple. But then, like, the second character is this game plan where it's basically like you have to do little damage over time and make the little damage do, like, basically like a Pokemon poison effect, like, takes HP off on the opponent's turn. So you have to, like, kind of play and, like, build your deck completely differently. Even though there are, like, a lot of, you know, unique cards even beyond just the initial deck from, like, the characters you play as. There's colorless cards, which can be used in any of them. So there's still like some overlap in things you can use. There's not really a lot of story to it. It's just kind of fun to, like, I don't know, basically play a game that almost feels like Magic the Gathering, but still feels distinct enough to be fun. There's also a very good modding scene.
Okay.
I played as Dio Brando.
Oh,
Someone
cool.
made a deck for him, and it involves, like, draining life from the opponent, you know, because he's a vampire.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually, like, all the cards, like, there's a, like, Muda times 10 or whatever. Like, all the cards in the deck are custom, as though Dio was actually in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's one that is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon theme, and it's kind of insane. You can pick from, like, I think 8 Pokemon, and all of them have different decks.
That's
like,
fucking rad, okay.
Yeah, people are dedicated to this game. The first one I ever won with, even before the main story, was a Sailor Moon deck.
Oh, yeah.
And
Willow's always like, well, there's things about Sailor Moon that aren't for me. When I think you're the biggest Sailor Moon fan I know who isn't me.
Yeah, well, you're the biggest Sailor Moon fan I know, so...
Guilty!
But yeah, the modding scene is great. So it's like, you know, there's a little bit of that sprinkle of fandom in there that makes the kind of crossover aspect fun. But also just the main game is great too. Like, the main characters are a lot of fun. There's one that I'm playing as right now. They are a, like, protocol droid that gains sentience, and they can channel elements. And so the game plan there is, like, keep channeling the elements so they do damage over time, even when you're not, like, directly attacking the opponent.
Okay, so when you say cards are involved and decks are involved, is that in, like, the sense that cards are involved in, like, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memory, or is it like cards, but like Balatro, where it's like it's a card game?
It's a card game. Okay. Like, your enemies don't use cards. They just, like, do damage over time, or like they're almost like enemies in an RPG, but how you attack and, like, defend cards.
So I guess maybe I'm dwelling on something, but I'm just trying to get an image of what it is. Is it like, if you're playing as Dio Brando, do you, like, see him fighting, or is he playing cards?
You see him fighting, and then, like, to you, the player, you see the cards.
Okay. So it's kind of in between. There's not, because for some reason, and this is probably fucking stupid, because I feel like everyone knows this game. It just happens to be, like, something I haven't looked at. It's kind of in the middle, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I don't know, have you played it, Dav?
I've heard of it. I think the game is fairly old, right?
I don't know about fairly.
Like, it's like 10 years old, right, at least?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Like, at the age of the Wii U, which is old, which I fucking hate.
Yeah.
But,
Really
because I vaguely remember hearing about, like, friends of mine who played it in, like, high school and got, like, addicted to it. So I could see it, like, being very, almost like Balatro in that way, of just, like, really grabbing you based on its gameplay alone, and really kind of having a lot of lasting power because of that.
Yeah, like, indie games are, like, a new niche thing. It's kind of fresh. I played them back in high school. Fuck.
Indie games have been coming out since I was in... Like, the term indie game has regularly been used since I was in middle school.
Jesus Christ. Well, that sounds cool, Willow.
That's a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, Dav, I shall pass it over to you.
Okay. Yeah, I guess speaking of fun, so I'm gonna toast something that is a little bit of fun, a little bit of emotion, so we're kind of combining the last two here into one big no, actually, I'm not gonna say that. One big old mix, and that is, I'm gonna toast Colorful Stage, the movie, a Miku who can't sing.
Yeah!
Neat. I was wondering what y'all thought of this one.
It's not the
Fucking
greatest movie in the world.
Oh, shut the fuck up, Dab. Don't disparage that movie.
Willow, I feel like you gave it like a 7.
I did, but it fucking rocked.
That's my new favorite Willow. Yeah, I did.
But it fucking... Well, yeah, well, I did, but it fucking rocks is exactly how I feel. I also gave it a 7, but yeah, it's like...
Sometimes,
it's Miku.
Sometimes a 7 is what you're hungry for, honestly.
Exactly, yeah. A 7 with Miku is like the best kind of 7.
Yeah.
So this was produced by PA Works, who previously I had seen like the anime Another was one that they worked on, and then Glass Lip, which was like the most boring show ever made. They worked on this, and their style I think is pretty good, pretty consistent, but nothing like extraordinary. And it was directed by Hiroyuki Hata, and it's based on the mobile game Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage, previously known as Project Sekai. That's what I knew it as, and didn't realize until the movie started, frankly, that was the same thing. But it basically, the premise kind of centers around 5 different groups of 4-member bands. They're all based in Shibuya, and they all have access to these pocket dimensions called sekais. And this is kind of the premise of the mobile game that is continued into the movie. So there's like sort of a pre-established universe here that the movie is set in. And the sekais fit kind of the theme of the emotions that they're born from, and the music that's produced, kind of like the genre or the style of the music that's produced by that band. So for example, one of the bands is called Vivid Bad Squad. They're a kind of hip-hop street group, and so their sekai looks like a small city block with like graffiti on the walls, and there's like a cafe that's run by the Vocaloids, and the Vocaloids are like really upbeat.
Rad, I like it.
Yeah, versus like the polar opposite of something like that, which is another one of the bands called Night Court at 2500, which is just a band of depressed girl failures who meet up on Discord at 1 a.m. and they have like this soulless, empty white void as their sekai.
Honey,
and all the...
you look in a mirror lately? The call's coming from inside the house, girlfriend.
No, they're really sad. They're like, they own the sadness. They're like almost goth. They're like almost emo. But yeah, and then like their Vocaloids, like their Miku and stuff, they reflect that emotion. They're all very like stoic and kind of emotionless. So that's kind of how the sekais work. But for the most part, they have to like actively go to these sekais, and they keep it a secret. Nobody outside of their respective band knows that they can go to these places. Even like the bands don't even really know about each other, or they don't like know who's in those groups. And like one day, which is kind of just portrayed as somewhere in the middle of this when the game takes place, a Miku that nobody recognizes just kind of shows up and is like able to project herself onto and out of digital screens, and she's like asking all of the band members for help, and basically her sekai was created and her with it, but she doesn't fully understand the emotions that made it, and she's having a very hard time reaching the people who like relate to her and like whose emotions created her. And
I feel that.
Yeah, there's like a sad element to the movie, and it does go, I think, some pretty dark places. Like Not to get into spoilers, but there's a scene that Willow describes as the Miku genocide.
And true, it's accurate.
You know, it is kind of it's an accurate description.
They're calling it the King of Genocide.
But like as the movie progresses, it starts to become pretty clear, and I think it's pretty smartly done because they don't outright state it to the camera or anything. There's a little bit of subtlety to it, but you kind of catch on that there's a catch-22 here where this Miku was sort of created from the emotion of like creative frustration. So she's unable to creatively express herself because the people who created her can't creatively express themselves, and that's why they need her.
Jeez. Oh wow.
And so it's there's some sadness to it. It is mostly fairly upbeat and optimistic. And they spend like a lot of time she kind of passes through each of the different bands, and you get to kind of know each of them, but to be honest, the movie I think is a little bit inaccessible if you haven't played the original game, or at least if you're not familiar with how this type of game works. Because, you know, despite the fact that I never really bothered to play Project Sekai, I was able to kind of piece together as the movie was going on, like, what the deal was and why there were the different bands and kind of how that would work in that game. But it's just kind of... It shows that, like, there's a reason this is called Colorful Stage the Movie and not Hatsune Miku the Movie. And I think it has attracted a lot of people based on it being a Miku movie, and I don't think that people are necessarily going to be disappointed, just maybe, like, a little bit confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little confused, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's still enjoyable if you like Vocaloid and Miku. There's plenty of like Easter eggs and shout-outs to like existing Vocaloid songs, and pretty much all of the main Vocaloids appear in some fashion. Those being like Miku, Luca, Mako, Kaito, and then the twins, Rin and Len. Those are kind of the big poster mascots that are in like Project Diva and stuff. So if you're familiar with that game and kind of any of the most popular Vocaloid songs, you'll get something out of this for sure. You know, most of my issues I think are just kind of issues that I have with the original game, which is like the main cast of the like human characters from the bands. Their designs are really generic and homogenous for the most part. There's like a couple of them that stand out here and there, but
there's Miku and the rest.
Yeah, pretty much. There are exactly, because out of all the 5 bands, and this was something I noticed watching because it was really tripping me up more than anything else, but out of all 5 bands, there are only 2 of them that have any male performers in them, and they are Vivid Bad Squad and Wonderland's Showtime. And they both have 2 male performers who are basically just mirror versions of the male performers in the other band.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's like the redheaded hothead guy and then the tall, slender, pretty boy. And they both have that.
This isn't a realm I've been anywhere near in, like, years. I've been way less of an anime guy, like, lately. I'm, like, nodding and being like, they would do that as I hear this.
Yeah, but, you know, I gotta have more girl performers because that's what's really gonna sell on the gachas.
Yeah.
That's true.
Other than that, I thought it was kind of lame that all the, like, different genres for each band were... Are you good? Editing, Tommy, you're gonna have your work cut out for you.
It's the 420 episode. It can be sloppy.
Did you not hear Dad say genres?
I heard myself say it, but like... I don't think I'm high enough to laugh that much over it.
This is when people listen on like May 9th when they have a second, like, fuck, it's a 420.
Every episode is a 420 episode here on Toast and Roast.
It's like I got pumped up for a non-Christmas episode. It's like, oh, it's a Christmas episode. Well, I just feel weird now.
It's a Christmas episode and it's releasing on February 10th. I guess we're in the realm. It's like winter. What the fuck ever.
Oh, the SpongeBob Marathon needs as many episodes as it can get, so they're just like throwing in the Christmas episode. Even though the marathon's in like May, it's like,
Yeah.
Alright. I guess I see why you'd have to do that.
Anyway, the genres are basically just like different versions of J-pop. Like, Vivid Bad Squad is hip-hop J-pop. And Night Court at 2500 is sad J-pop. And Wonderland's X Showtime is J-pop, but they're an amusement park for some reason. I don't know what else their deal was. That was
They
kind of
went
their
in
whole
there
thing.
and they made it about Disney.
They basically have their own private Disneyland, and the fucking emo girl failures on Discord get a white blank void.
You know who has something to say about that? My new character, debonair Frenchman, Jean-Noir.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Jean-Noir.
Jean-Noir.
Yeah, I still don't know what that is,
dude. Willow, you were just busting your fucking belt over it like 10 minutes ago. Not even. Jean-Noir.
Oh, it sounded like he was saying a name like John.
No, that's the joke, is that it's like, what if Jean-Noir?
Oh, I see.
Like,
The joke
that's
is
what
that
it
like
sounds
Jean-Noir could be like a French man's name if you were being like really racist.
Yeah.
And Jean-Noir is the mispronunciation of that name.
If I'm J.K. Rowling, I'm like, and then Harry ran into Jean-Noir Snail Tongue.
Yeah, if J.K. Rowling is like listening to this episode, she's like, fuck, I gotta write another book now.
I was smoking my big fucking cigar for some reason. Nobody better Photoshop the cigar to a big penis, or you'll be the immature one.
Hatsune Miku. Yeah, the story was good. The music was pretty great. A lot of the new music was composed by Deco27, who I have a lot of issues with. But objectively, they're a talented producer. And the post-show for this was fun. It was like a virtual Miku concert after the credits.
Oh, cool.
And like some people in the theater had like glow sticks and shit. It was funny.
Was it like a hologram, or did they just show it on the screen?
It was like they put like it's like Miku and the other Vocaloids performing like on a stage, but it's like on the screen.
So okay, so it's like a musical session of the movie, but you're encouraged to like join in.
Yeah, but then they like frame it as though it's like a live performance. Yeah. Like the stage is like static and stuff.
Okay.
It was pretty cool.
See, they did that with Daft Punk with that fucking I want to call it Cyberpunk 2. That's not it.
The Interstellar
5. That sounded cool. They said they would just play a bunch of Daft Punk music videos as like a post show. But fucking, that would be the coolest thing ever if it wasn't the shitty remaster.
The AI remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea. I mean, I'm used to a lot of the, because I think this was distributed by like G Kids or something, like one of those companies that does basically all of the anime releases in the West now.
I'm almost positive it was G Kids, yeah.
Yeah, and they tend to do stuff like that. Like they'll have like cool post credits, like behind the scenes or whatever. So I wasn't really expecting like a concert, but that was pretty cool.
Like it.
If you love Miku, you'll find something to enjoy about this movie. Honestly, it's not a masterpiece, even though Willow says it is, but still, it's fun.
Hey, real.
Yeah, go ahead and take it.
All right. I guess speaking of films deeply associated with music, I really want to toast Sinners, and I think you two will join me. I think we all really liked this one, huh?
Yeah, Sinners is cool.
Great. Sinners is so good. I feel kind of like, and something that like ties into something else I'm going to talk about later is how I feel like movies is like football now. I feel like it's become almost half the fun to like treat movies like sports and be obsessed with stats and like have that as a thing to discuss and be right about. Like you just like to talk shop about the box office. Like it's a casual conversation to be like, oh, the Marvels isn't doing so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
I knew about this movie that as far back as when it was called Untitled Ryan Coogler Vampire Film. It was in my watch list in Letterboxd with that name. And I was like, oh, that'll be pretty cool. Coogler does good stuff. Haley Steinfeld is a vampire. I'm there. And then, like, it slowly rolls out, and you're like, oh, this is a thing that only I've heard about for, like, months. No one else cares, of course. And then it's the biggest fucking movie of America. And I feel like I predicted the final score of the Super Bowl. I'm so fucking smug. I'm not trying to say you can't like it because I liked it first. I'm trying to say you're welcome. You're welcome. Told you. This movie fucking rocks. I love this fucking movie. And you know, I took myself down a peg. I watched Wakanda Forever right before this one. And even like Ryan Coogler is talented enough that that movie's not bad. It is rough in a way that Sinners is not, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Fucking, and it's a hard movie. You know what? And I'm not doing this just for the sake of doing it. I'm doing this to illustrate a point. Joel, our favorite buddy, Joel Haver, I hope he still will have me on his show sometime. If you're listening, Joel, fuck you. No, he posted a review not loving it, and he's allowed to, but he kind of goes off like, people saying they love the whole thing, do they mean the first act too? It's so slow. And I think, like, I'm sorry, like, I just think that is, like, just asking for people to give a million possible answers for what's so fucking good about the opening of that movie. Because it has that much to cling to. You have Michael B. Jordan, like, it's like, I almost call it, it feels almost like business porn a bit at points, where it's just like charismatic like when you put on a show that's like, how many episodes of a show can I watch about guys who are good at negotiating? And like, somehow they kind of nail it. And I love Smoke and Stack and their like very different persuasive methods of getting people to come to their jukebox opening. I like shit like that is so fucking rad. That's fully what movies are for. I don't know, you know, the way it like, it's like a meet the characters. It has to roll out like, and here's this one, and here's this one, and you'll see this one there. These are their relationships. And Ryan Coogler was like, I'm gonna take my time with this, and it's not gonna be a fucking bore. The way you learn about characters is fucking interesting and well acted. It's like, and then there's the complete second half that's just like awesome in its own fucking way for being tense and fucking freaky.
There was something to be said about how people are just, their attention spans are way too fucking shot now. They cannot handle just like dialogue, interesting dialogue even. If the movie's about vampires and vampires are not on screen, they're completely shut out. They're not they're not into anything that's going on.
I watched The King and I recently, and like kind of like what I was saying about As Good as It Gets. Those are both movies with like deeply flawed premises that are like in some ways harmful on premise for how they present marginalized groups. But I'm watching them and I'm like, this is just like writing at its very best. Like sometimes dialogue is just such good fucking dialogue.
Sometimes it's more interesting than the action.
I feel more and more alone. I feel like the biggest, like, well done. Like, this isn't. I feel like this shouldn't be a weird opinion to have. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's a weird opinion to have.
No. But I'm saying, like, I feel like everyone's gonna think I'm so fucking pretentious for saying that. When it's like, well, we're gonna sit down and watch our dialogue boxes. Shouldn't it be good dialogue?
Absolutely. I mean, Godzilla -1, my favorite Godzilla movie. That was one of the big praise points for that was how good the like the human moments were, and sometimes better than the Godzilla moments.
Yeah.
Seriously. Golly. And like like we've barely gone over. There's a few like amazing performance. And I think because it makes extremely bold choices. If it doesn't hit with you, it just like does not hit with you. Because I feel like in every person's review, they have one thing about Sinners that like they don't like. Like nobody's. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've seen every weird complaint from someone where I'm like, oh, what, that's all? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But no one like, I saw someone say Haley Steinfeld sucks in it. You wouldn't agree with that, would you?
No.
She was great.
But I wouldn't agree. But I think it's such a strong choice to make a Disney-adjacent actor say fucking foul things in a vampire movie, and yet they play it like... I think that's part of the intention, but they don't draw too... It's not like that's the joke of it entirely, you know what I mean? In a way that I could see that just, like, striking people as odd.
Yeah.
I think it works. Same with, like, again, like, I almost don't want to give away the... I'd say the coolest things about Sinners are like things I truly did not expect to happen in Sinners. Would you agree with me on that as well?
I would say so.
I'd also say so, mostly because the like first trailer of it was very vague.
Yeah.
My mind was like racing with what it could be about.
No, yeah. So, like, and it is like it had bottomless possibilities, and it still picked something I wouldn't have guessed in about 1 billion years. Oh man, and it did hit me up like that emotional level too. And I brought this up earlier. The way I kind of again that was the same week as the RFK press meeting where he claims that autistic people can't wipe their ass or go on dates. I was like, fuck, we're living in such a shit world. And like there's this movie about just like making it till dawn and how like no matter how awful the night is, I really do feel like the one surviving black man as all of his marginalized friends are fucking like destroyed around him. It was like the most powerful thing I could have looked at in that moment, I think.
Yeah. Also, something to be said about the kind of film climate of kind of so far this year. I mean, there have been good movies, but nothing that I thought was truly like amazing until this drop.
Yeah, exactly. Which I want to say that that's just like typical January, February, March, like that. We don't generally get great releases in those months, and this movie kind of stands out for being like it kind of like noticed this drought and was like, y'all mind if I? And it's like, wait, why haven't we been doing this all along? No, it's a little bizarre to think about. This had its release date swapped with Mickey 17. And I think if we got Sinners in March and Mickey 17 in April, that movie would look so much worse.
Yeah, probably.
Or maybe... No, I almost want to say it might look better, because, like, I walk into that one being like, this is going to be the one that, like, saves movies for the year. Like, 2 months will have been worth it. And, like, getting that where it's like, okay, it doesn't have to save me anymore. It might have left a better taste. Both. All right. Last rotation, Willow.
All right. So, we recently rewatched a movie that I remember watching a lot as a kid, but I don't remember much about. Kiki's Delivery Service is really good.
Yes, I love this movie.
Yeah. I remember watching this movie so much as a kid, and, like, honestly, that should have been the first sign. But, It's just like such a fun movie. I described it in my Letterboxd review as that like Kiki is like Paddington if he like ever wavered in his values.
He had a moment of weakness, I think is what you said.
Oh yeah.
That's actually fucking brilliant. That's genius.
Thank you. But yeah, it's super fun when she landed in the train and the hay like started to go down. I was having a Ratatouille moment because I'm sorry, one second. Dav, you left it. Did you mean to leave the stove on?
I left the stove on?
Anyways, Kiki's delivery service is fun. I had like a Ratatouille flashback at the scene where she's like sleeping in the hay. For some reason, I just vividly remembered that. It's great how she's like very helpful and she learns to discover herself again at the end. It's like it's a simple but like really inspiring story. The best way I can say it is that, like, I feel like it is just very Paddington-esque.
I feel like that's the kind of movie that I think of when I'm like, when I wasn't such a tight ass, when I was such a tight ass about giving out 9s, I still would have given that a 9. Like, I feel like I've come around on really lax movies just as part of, like, growing up. And realizing that it doesn't have to be, like, all action all the time. And but even at my most immature and, like, wanting for stimuli, I can be like, oh, Kiki's Delivery Service is fucking great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service
like,
rocks.
You would watch it as a kid and be like, oh, Kiki's Delivery Service. The artful, relaxed touches of Hayao Miyazaki. Oh, I shall partake. Yeah. And now you're like, oh! It's like if you found out McDonald's was actually always really great for you. Is there shame that I also really like a Ghibli dub?
We watched the dub, didn't we? Yeah, we watched it.
Ghibli does
like,
good.
Phil Hartman and Kirsten Dunst.
Oh man, I feel like y'all get mad at me when I say I watch dubs, but I think we can just agree that
the Ghibli dubs, like the newer ones especially, are like quality.
I've genuinely found. I just feel bad because like everyone makes jokes like, oh, you got to get over the subtitles. If it's not a movie that I'm truly locked in for, subtitles are just hard for me. Sorry. I'm seeing Wolf Children, and that'll be subtitled, but that's okay, because it's a theater. I'm sorry, Willow, keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say, long story short, it's, like, really nice. I wish Tombo had died in that accident, but, you know. Yeah, it's like... I don't know, it is nice knowing that, like, a movie that you watched as a kid that, like, kind of unconsciously... like inspired me in a lot of ways holds up just like so well is a great feeling.
The messaging about the like passion for what you do in your everyday life has always really resonated with me as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's what I've got to say about Kiki. So Dav, off to you.
Okay. So recently, Todd Howard woke up and threw something at us, and that's how we got The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, which just shadow dropped last week. Oblivion is a game from my childhood. It's one of those, like, first games that I kind of sat down and tried to seriously play. And I remember being just, like, blown away by it when it came out, because it was just, the graphics were crazy for the time, and the scale. And kind of in hindsight, it is pretty funny to kind of look back and see this cute, quirky, weird Bethesda RPG that was really just punching above its weight class and did fantastically, but is also just kind of a mess in its own way. Sort of in the last couple years, it's kind of been the worst kept secret that this remaster was on the way. And finally, after a few leaks, it finally dropped. And yeah, it's developed by Virtuos and Bethesda Game Studios, kind of partnering together. It runs on Unreal Engine 5.
It sounds a little like they're like, okay, you did the hype cycle for us. Thanks for nothing, I guess. Here it is. Like, I feel like a game cycle gets that once in a while. We're like, okay, you knew, fuck it. Here's new Metroid. You happy? Yeah.
Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's Christmas, and it's pretty nice because I'm pretty sure at this point GTA 6 is not coming out this year. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
But at least we got this.
Do we see GTA 6 or Beyond the Spider-Verse first?
GTA 6, I think, will be first. I think it's gonna be like next year.
Yeah, I think so too.
But yeah, anyway, this runs on Unreal Engine 5, so kind of getting away from the creation engine, but the logic, at least, not the physics, is still handled by Gamebryo, which was the predecessor to the infamous creation engine that Bethesda refuses to let go of. I have not played Starfield, and I probably never will, but that game looks like it runs like shit. And to be fair, I'll say the one negative of this remaster is that it is very terribly optimized. It has an inflated file size, and it runs like ass on most systems. But it still looks very good. Like, graphically, it's very good looking. There are a lot of, like, quality of life improvements and tweaks, and for the most part, it retains the original Oblivion experience. There's still the weird NPCs, and while everybody looks prettier than they did in 2006, they still are pretty horrific to look at. But yeah, it's still... I generally like to wait until I finish things before I kind of bring them up on here, and I'm, probably not even halfway through this game at this point, but, like, who am I kidding? It's Oblivion. I know what Oblivion is. It's... Everything that I have seen so far is pretty much just an improvement from the original game. I think the atmosphere is held together pretty well. I think it's still very colorful, even though people are kind of cherry-picking, like, certain screenshots at certain times of day to be like, oh, they brownified it. But, yeah, I don't know. It still looks very good. And... yeah, I've been having a very good time with it. It's a very addictive game. It's a lot... I'd never really made it this far. I think Skyrim was really the main Elder Scrolls that I really got sucked into, but this one, I think, without having kind of all the negatives and the downsides that come with being an old-as-hell 2006 RPG, this one really stands up, and I think, like, the writing and the quest design... a lot of the time is leagues above Skyrim. Still doesn't really quite hold up to, like, Fallout New Vegas, but it's really good in its own way.
Should I put the #1 fan in the thumbnail?
Yeah, you should, honestly.
All right, done. You've convinced me. That sounds awesome. We love a good surprise. do you get to and this is me sounding like a fucking dumb, because it's like, oh, we're talking about the 2 games I don't know shit about. Do you get to pick a warrior class, or is it just more one size fits all?
So in theory, there are and I guess Oblivion kind of does it better than Skyrim does, but there are different classes, and you can choose certain play styles and certain skills and attributes that are going to be more focused on, that'll level up faster, you'll be better at. But for the most part, if you spec all your skills into mage at the beginning of the game and decide, oh, I want to be a 2-handed swordsman instead, you can do that. In Skyrim, that's the entire game really is you can just do whatever you want, and you can level up everything to the max if you want, and be the guild leader of every single faction in the entire country if you like. It's a power fantasy simulator, and this one, compared to most classic RPGs of the day, compared to Morrowind, which was the one that came out, I want to say 4 years before this one. God, I miss when game development cycles were normal. This one is a lot more accessible and a lot more free than something like that, and it's kind of I think kind of the best of both worlds. You get the classic RPG experience of good writing and choices matter, and you're a part of the world is not a part of you.
Yeah.
But then also Skyrim's really fun combat and great graphics and stuff like that.
That's okay. That sounds the feather touch, sweet spot right there.
It's good. It has its issues, and a lot of people swear that the original Oblivion's leveling system is maybe the worst design system in any video game, because it basically boils down to you level up and all of the enemies eventually will completely scale past you the more you level up. So you're punished for leveling up, and that sucks, and you can kind of see the remnants of that here, but they've tweaked it enough that it's doable. So I do appreciate that. It almost, in certain ways, because of things like that, it feels more like a remake than a remaster. But you turn the graphic settings low enough on this and you basically can't tell the difference, so there's that level of it being very close to the same game, and very familiar in that way. But I love Oblivion. It's fantastic, and it's hard to describe why I love Oblivion. Just that I recommend that people try it, and if you like Skyrim, you will like this. But yeah, it takes some getting used to, this weird Bethesda approach to game design and writing, but when it catches on, I mean, you really get into it.
Alright. And that actually does kind of, ingratiate me a bit. That does sound kind of... Because it's just, Bethesda stuff is just, one of those things where it's just, I have a billion things I need to get into before I get into Bethesda, you know? But that actually does make me be I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for some people, it's the only game series they play, and by some people, I mean my father.
Alright, I had to decide what my last topic will be, if that's okay. I think I'll talk about The Studio. That is the new show on Apple TV, which kind of reminds me, Willow, I've been meaning to ask you, did you know the creator of Severance is debuting a film this year?
What's it called?
Oh, fuck. I almost... You know what, Willow? Here's what's gonna happen. You're not gonna look it up. You're not gonna find out. It's going in your birthday pre-show.
Oh, okay.
And, it's not being talked about that much, I think. I think if you just lay low, it'll surprise you when we get there.
Okay.
Alright. I'm making Willow, because, my job for every movie night is to make a pre-show. I like to put together funny little esoteric clips that are germane to the movies people are making. It's just the...
Oh, you said the thing.
So what'd I say?
You said germane.
Yeah, I did.
Your catchphrase, your quirky little catchphrase.
The catchphrase of Jean Noir. Jean Noir Sneldon. So I make the pre-show, and since this weekend is Willow's birthday, I'm making her like a very Willow pre-show. And I'm like, oh, if I surprise her with the Severance director's movie, oh, I just kicked the door down.
See you, Tommy.
Okay, sorry, that was all because it was on Apple TV Plus, the studio. So, and this connects back again to like how dominated the culture can kind of feel by like talking shop about movies nowadays. It's like you see the big game, you see the box office this weekend, and I think that had into the studio, and Seth Rogen, I think, create, produce, and is starring in it, and he's and there's a lot, like, I think Red Letter Media didn't really care for this show. They kind of offhandedly were like, the satire is just so broad, it's like not really about anything, and I do think in some broad strokes they are like just parroting any movie discussion you can find on Twitter. Whoa, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was great, and they marketed it under these conditions, you know, like, just those very, they're making a Kool-Aid movie because they misunderstood Barbie, but, like, they take a premise like that, and I think they write it really brilliantly, where I think the actually really good punchline is that by a Kool-Aid movie, they mean a biopic about the Jonestown suicides, directed by Martin Scorsese. It's like, and then like they have to weigh like that, and Scorsese is in it playing himself, and he's like all excited for this Jonestown movie, and they have to like weigh that against the like, you know, actual cartoony Kool-Aid movie where it's like the Kool-Aid man has a daughter, and I'm like, it'd be one thing to do the episode about how cringe they made a Kool-Aid Man movie. It's like actually pretty well written to have that like double-sided component of like, well, here's how you could, because this character really wants to do that, and like they put themselves into the shoes of some, because like I kind of am like, well, everyone likes to think the way Seth Rogen in this show thinks. They're like, well, if I were an executive, I'd be the cool one who funds actual art and, like, isn't just, like, the Kool-Aid movie. But this show, like, illustrates how fucking impossible it is, because we live in a hellscape, and they make, you know, sometimes I'm like, ooh, I fancy being an executive and picking projects. They make it look like a fucking awful shit show, because it fucking is. Like, the characters are all terrible, opportunistic people. And I know that, and as I describe it, it sounds like, yeah, that's fucking easy. They're executives. But I think it does an amazing job taking something as glorified as like, oh, well, I'm being rewarded by the culture for knowing so much about movies, and painting just how, like, kind of bleakly meaningless it is, and how like it's like a fucking miracle to get a movie like Sinners in a theater these days, you know? I think it actually, yeah, clinches into that. It's almost like Mad Men that way, where it's like, oh, everybody wants to be a kickin', like, stylish guy of the 50s. And it's like, no, it fucking sucked. Look at how many fucking things, you know? And with that in mind, it's probably gonna be like, I feel like there is going to be a genre of film bro that, like, idolizes Seth Rogen's character in this. The way it's, like, Don Draper and Walter White. Not that he does crimes on that level, but that he is the problem with the system. Where, like, no matter how much he talks about wanting to make great art, he falls into these, like, impossible pit holes. And you almost don't hate him because he does the wrong thing. You hate him for ever thinking he would do the right thing. So I think it's actually a fascinating show that way.
Yeah, I heard them mention this on Red Letter Media, and I didn't realize that was, like, the premise.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty interesting. It just kind of sounded insane to me, the way they were talking about, like, a Kool-Aid movie and shit.
No, yeah. It's like, yeah, all from the point of view of film executives. Seth Rogen is like newly promoted and kind of trying to stay afloat. Catherine Hahn really steals the show of Agatha Harkness fame. She's the marketing director, and as someone with like an unhealthy obsession with commercials and making pre-shows, I just like love the depravity of her like love of marketing and manipulating people. Frankly, she's like looking at the sketches for the Kool-Aid movie and going, "Ah, oh, I can sell the shit out of this." Oh man. I think it's an easy show to be dismissive of because it's like, oh, they do the single panning like shot through a whole scene and with and they have that like the tapping drum that's in the background of like every super tense TV show to the point of like parody. But I think it actually like really like digs its heels in and does a good job. And partially also because they get just the right performers that they can also poke fun at. Because like Anthony Mackie is in it, but he's just playing Anthony Mackie, so he has to be really like it's. But it never feels like and Anthony Mackie says we can't make him look bad. There's bits where like Greta Lee is like filming a movie and she like walks off set and they're between takes. And she goes up to Seth Rogen and she's like, and hey, for publicity, do you think I could get a private jet? Because like I did past lives for A24 and they had like $2. Private jet. Like, fuck it, it's like they aren't afraid. I think that's like the good tier to be at, that you don't take yourself so seriously and you kind of play off the joke a bit. You got like Ron Howard is in there and he's like very, I think he's always been kind of corny, but he's like kind of down to be funny about it. They strike that balance really well. I think it's honestly great.
That sounds super fun.
Yeah. I would say it kind of reminds me of Curb Your Enthusiasm in like the uncomfortable humor of it. I wouldn't call it like cringe humor.
No, not cringe humor. Is it like dry? Is it maybe like
because I showed
like
you
British The Office or something?
I showed you
dry.
I think because like I showed you the Curb Your Enthusiasm, the lawn jockey. Would you describe that? That's my favorite episode, and that's I think. Would you describe that as cringe but dry?
Mostly, there is like the big like zinger and stuff, but
yeah,
like for the most part, it's pretty dry.
Like the punchline is usually kind of broad, I guess, but up until then, it's really dry. I'd say, yeah. It has some really good like just punchlines. Like no matter like it'll be dry, kind of droll. You can be like, oh, like kind of plugged in. Then something will happen, like Seth Rogen fucking falls down a flight of stairs. And he gets injured, and he just pissed off a ton of doctors at a gala because he was saying movies are just as important as doctors.
Yeah, that does sound very Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I love it. I hope it sticks the landing because I'm a little worried it's gonna want to be about something more than that by like the last episode. I just want them to like put a nice button on it. If you get a season 2, you get a season 2. I don't want it to be about anything more than how it is, I don't think this needs like character arcs. Just put this character in perhaps increasingly absurd situations.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's 3 rotations, if I counted correctly. Are we ready for the news?
Yeah.
I guess here it is.
Here's the news.
So, we burned through a lot of news already, but I think for the better, because now we can kind of wind down with just a few more. So this was announced on April 1st, and I didn't fucking believe it. And I was also like, it's too good to be, not too good to be true, but like, good, but too weird on April 1st. I don't know why they didn't just wait a day. We're getting a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, written by Tarantino, directed by David Fincher.
Oh, we like the Finchman.
We like the Finchman. And I feel like if you told me they're making a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'd almost be a little like, oh, all right, whatever. Like, not because, like, Tarantino's my favorite director. I think, I don't know if, like, a sequel is something like he could stick the landing on so well. I don't consider Kill Bill a sequel. That's one movie that he was forced to cut in two.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't count that. But then you're like, but it's through the lens of David Fincher. I'm like, because I almost feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is such a, like, I don't want to say broad, kind of a broad premise in a way that you could kind of make stories about it, but it would have to be from someone else's perspective. Like, I almost am like, this isn't Tarantino's Cliff Booth, it's Fincher's Cliff Booth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, has it ever happened before where, like, some other director tried to make something in the Tarantino, like, universe? Like, I don't even know if that's happened outside of movies.
That's a good question. Because I think Tarantino's protective of his characters, but I think that's the thing, is he is so deeply protective. Not any schmuck can just be like, can I make the Kill Bill 3 with, you know, he retains the rights very, very closely. So the fact that he's trusting David Fincher, who is like immortally shackled to Netflix, he must really believe in the vision of it.
It could be interesting.
Yeah. So it's the continued adventures of Cliff Booth. I need to rewatch Hollywood because, like, I have it as an 8 right now. I feel like in a post Minecraft movie world, it would be one of my favorite films of all time. For everything it says. I don't know if I'm making too big a deal out of this thing. China announces they will slow down import of American films in the wake of tariffs. Now, I feel like a few years ago that would be fucking insane, and maybe it's just not as big a deal anymore.
It's still insane.
It's still pretty crazy.
Like, it's justified, but it's insane that we fucking
Well, and
live
China is such a big, like, box office, like, part of the business that, like, from what I understand, that's the big reason so many big studio blockbusters are scared to have gay people. Because they need the viewers
Disney
in China.
Especially. Like, in particular, it's really Disney. Disney has so much influence in China.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, so maybe... But that is still, like, that is a significant market being deprived. And again, it is that almost, like, that sobering thing of, like, well, I use movies to escape the horrors of real life. And it's like, oh, we've gotten to this point where art is, like, where we're gonna have movies burned and cease to exist the way some huge bulk of movies from the 1910s are just gone. We're just going through one of these. An art cultural dip contextualized by the world.
Well, it's going to be a big shift, and I think that this and, like, the whole TikTok situation, and, I don't know, just in general, China is gaining a lot of, like, soft power in the West, and frankly, I think that we are going to live to see a world where China overtakes the amount of soft power that, like, Japan has here.
Oh, wow.
I think that's gonna, like, in our lifetimes, like, decades possibly from now, but I think we are gonna live to see it.
Fuck. Like, the way we would hand wave a lot of, like, choices on the part of the Japanese, because it's like, where else would we get our phone?
Yeah, well, that, and it's, you know, also just with how big of, like, a grip anime and, like, Japanese video games and movies and music kind of are as big as they are in the West, I think that we're gonna live to see China basically replace them in that role.
That's insane. But true. Oh my god. That makes my next bulletin seem downright quaint. But a victory again for Warner abandoned animation. Netflix has saved Genndy Tartatovsky's Fixed. This is a hand-drawn animated movie by the creator of Samurai Jack and Primal, and although very much not in those veins, more in his Hotel Transylvania comedy roots. about a dog who is living out his last day before he gets neutered, and I think most studios were like, oh, no. But Netflix has, like, Hail Married it long after we thought it was gone, like, completely. And I feel... And, like, okay, guide me on this. Because with, like, Coyote v. Acme, there was absolutely a small part of me that was like... I'm living in an echo chamber. There's no way a significant enough people care about this Wile E. Coyote movie to get it freed. I like if that happened, but, like, we're full of shit. Is it... What is the momentum that is being levied by, like, going back and saving these movies in a way that frankly strikes me as, like, it seems like they're doing it on purpose. Like, oh, we saved the scrapped movie you wanted, come on over. Like, are they levying way too much or, like, way too little? Am I making any sense in what I'm asking?
No, I'm sorry, Tommy.
No, I think you're making sense. It's like you're just like wondering why they're treating it like it's so significant when it's probably not that widely important, is what you're saying. Like most people wouldn't really care, is what you're thinking with this.
Well, I'm trying. Convince me, I'm being so. I think I'm just pretty much. I think I'm crashing out again.
Well, I see where you're coming, because I also don't really think that he's like a household name or anything. I think that he's popular if you're like in that circle.
Yeah.
Of like analyzing animation in any form. If you're like on the animation side of Twitter or something, you've certainly heard of him. But it's a big audience. It's not everybody. It's kind of that middle ground, I think, where there is a somewhat large and very passionate fan base behind him that will go crazy for this. But it's not gonna like outcompete like really most of anything that like Disney puts on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah. I guess here's how I'm thinking of it, is that this kind of thing used to happen, but like 7 years in between. Like, it would be like, oh, shame that movie got scrapped, and you'd forget about it for a decade, and then someone's like, ooh, look what I found, and now it's like, this movie's dead. Oh, you want it back? You want it back? I'm bringing it back. You want it, don't you? You thought it was dead. Come to me.
Well, I doubt that they had to invest all that much in order to make this happen. So I guess, you know, if it's inevitably going to have at least, you know, proportionally a pretty large return on investment. So might as well get what you can out of it.
And I guess this kind of thing probably happens behind the scenes in ways we don't even realize, like, all the fucking time.
Yeah.
We're just plugged in.
Yeah.
The Split Fiction movie is starring Sydney Sweeney and directed by John M. Chu.
Jesus Christ.
Why is there a movie of this?
So you're both acting like this is the first you've heard of it.
No, well,
But like,
I mean,
still.
I know, but you're
Like,
just,
I've
that's how
heard
strong
of
your
it
reaction
before.
is. That's how strong your reaction is.
it's just because like it hasn't been out for very long, and I'm gonna be real. I've played It Takes Two. I have not gotten super far in Split Fiction yet, but enjoying it so far. Both those games, very fun, love them, but almost entirely because of their gameplay.
Oh yeah.
Their stories are not bad, but they're like, I wouldn't say that they're
it can be Split Fiction.
masterpieces.
I'm also loving Split Fiction. It can be a bit of a groaner when it's like, I don't understand you or respect your writing. I don't understand or respect you or your writing. I love it, but that is the one thing where I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, they're fun, innovative games. I would not watch like a playthrough of them to get the story.
Fully not. And I don't know. Which one is Sydney Sweeney gonna be? I guess the British one? Zoe?
Like the fantasy writer, probably.
Yeah. I was fucking saying Jenna Ortega and Ella Purnell. That'd be fucking perfect.
Paging Dr. Reddit. Hey, Willow,
hey, Barry Keoghan is Ringo's star, okay? You can't fucking...
Zendaya is Michi. We can have anything we want.
What were you saying, Dav?
Willow, you actually did finish Split Fiction, so I guess you can say more than anybody here if, like, the story you think is good enough that it would, like, hold up as not a video game?
No.
Well, there we go.
I kind of don't care about the spoiler. You don't have to go into detail. Is Mr. Raider... Okay, let's not then. Let's not. Silly me. I didn't ask.
I care enough that I don't necessarily want to be spoiled on it, but I don't, like...
Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch, like, whatever the hell they're making. What is it, a TV show or a movie?
It's a movie.
That's insane.
It would fit a TV show better, honestly.
Probably, yeah.
You're gonna have to go... I bet it's gonna be one world for 45 minutes, one world for an hour. Yeah, no, it's gonna... And director of Wicked, so I think it's gonna be piss ugly. And how about... That was kind of an awkward note to end on, though. Do y'all have any other extra news bits here and there?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't really got anything.
That's fair. It feels like it was like a really big news month, but I think we kind of steamrolled through the bulk of it at the start. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, it was mostly concentrated in like the direct and stuff, so.
Yeah. Well, I am just about out of lettuce, but still partying a little longer, and I'm Tommy.
And I am rapping about lettuce, and I'm Willow.
I'm glad that we are actually continuing the lettuce bit this time, so I can say Lechuga del Diabetes again, and I'm Dev.
Swimming in the ocean, what do I see? A tuna wrap, that's for me. Good night, everybody.
We're gonna get sued.